The wind howls across the frozen land. It cuts like a knife. It does not care who you are. Snow piles high against wooden walls. Ice grips the earth like a tight fist. Now imagine this: no heater, no electric blanket, no warm air blowing from a vent. Just you, your family, and the long dark winter. This was life for the Vikings. And yet they did not freeze. They did not run. They stayed, they lived, they slept. How did they do it? Most people think fire was the answer, a big fire in the middle of the room, but that is not the full story. Fire helps, yes, but fire alone cannot beat that kind of cold. The secret was not just above the ground, it was below their feet. Cold does not only come from the air, it rises from the ground. If you sleep on cold earth, the cold moves into your body slowly, quietly, like a thief in the night. You may have a warm fire, you may have thick clothes, but the ground keeps pulling heat away. The Vikings knew this, they felt it, they learned the hard way. Many early homes failed because they did not stop the cold from below. And once the body loses heat to the ground, it is hard to get it back. So they asked a simple question, not how to make more heat, but how to keep the heat they already had. Their answer was clever, simple, and powerful. They changed the floor. Instead of sleeping on bare ground, they built layers. First, they raised the floor slightly, above the earth. Not too high, just enough to create a gap. That gap trapped air, and trapped air slows cold. Then came the real trick. They filled the space with dry materials. Things like straw, wood chips, even moss. These materials hold air inside them, and air is a poor conductor of heat. That means heat does not pass through easily. On top of that, they added wooden planks, thick and tight. Now the cold had to pass through layers, each one slowing it down. Think of the Viking home like an island of warmth. The outside world was frozen, but inside they built a barrier. Not with stone, not with metal, but with simple, natural things. The raised floor stopped direct contact with the ground. The packed layer below acted like a shield. And the wooden top gave a dry, stable place to live. Even without a strong fire, the room stayed warmer than the outside. Not hot, but safe. Safe enough to sleep. Safe enough to live through long nights. This was not magic. It was smart design. It was knowing how heat moves, even without modern science. Air may seem like nothing, but it is everything in this story. Still air traps heat, moving air steals it. The Vikings used this idea well. The straw and moss held tiny pockets of still air. These pockets acted like tiny blankets under the floor. Each one slowed the loss of heat. Today we call this insulation, but back then it was just common sense and experience. They did not need to measure temperature. They felt the difference. A floor with air stayed warmer. A floor without it stayed cold. The floor was only one part, but it worked with everything else. Low ceilings helped keep warm air close. Thick walls blocked the wind. Small openings reduced heat loss, but the floor was special. It worked all the time, day and night. Even when the fire died down, the floor kept doing its job. It protected them while they slept, and sleep in winter was not just rest. It was survival. Without this simple floor system, many would not have made it through the season. Fire gives heat, but it also takes work. You need wood, you need time, and when you sleep, the fire grows weak. If the floor is cold, the fire must fight both air and ground. That is a losing battle. The Vikings understood this balance. Instead of fighting harder, they made the fight easier. They stopped heat from escaping in the first place. This is why the floor mattered more than people think. It did not replace fire, it made fire stronger, by doing less work. Now look at many modern homes. Big spaces, high ceilings, hard floors, cold tiles. We use strong heaters, yet we still feel cold. Why? Because we often ignore the ground. We build fast, we build flat, and we forget what sits below us. Many homes lose heat through the floor, just like the old days. But instead of fixing the root problem, we turn up the heat. The Vikings would see this and shake their heads, not because we lack tools, but because we ignore simple wisdom. The truth is, this ancient floor trick still works today. Modern insulation uses the same idea, trapping air to slow heat loss. Raised floors, layered materials, sealed gaps, these are not new ideas, they are old ideas, refined over time. Even a simple rug adds a layer. Even a wooden floor feels warmer than stone. These small changes follow the same rule the Vikings used. Keep heat in, stop cold from rising. So what can we learn from this? The Vikings did not fight winter with power. They worked with nature. They observed, they adapted, they improved. Their secret was not loud. It was quiet, hidden under their feet. A simple floor, built with care, saved lives. It turned cold homes into safe shelters. It made winter something to endure, not fear. Next time you feel cold indoors, think about the ground beneath you. Think about the layers you cannot see, because sometimes the greatest solutions are not above us, but below, waiting to be remembered.